Welcome to Getting to Know You. I'm your host, Eman Tuzman-Eagan. I'm happy to welcome you to this podcast where we get to know members of the Berkshire Hills Music Academy better. Our guest for today's episode of Getting to Know You is Mark Palardy, joining us live from Berkshire Hills. Welcome to Getting to Know You, Mark. I'm so glad to have the chance to interview you today.
Thank you, Eman. I'm so excited to be here today.
Well, without further ado, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Pittsfield, Mass., which is in the Berkshires. It's about an hour away from Berkshire Hills.
What is it like being in the capabilities?
It is awesome. I just joined actually last year, and I love it. And we go on gigs, and we haven't had many yet, but we have 2 this coming week, and it's awesome. And we get to perform at different places like music schools, parties, and etc. And it's my dream come true.
Can you tell us the difference between the groovers and the capabilities?
Well, the capabilities is but the capabilities is a more very high advanced band that we go out and we perform at, as I said earlier, like high schools, schools, parties, businesses, etc. And the groovers is really mainly we did like just nursing homes and a couple of small day programs, but the big difference is that we're a bigger band than the capabilities, and the groovers was a smaller band sub.
When the capabilities go out on gigs, sometimes you give speeches about what it's like to be a gigging musician with a disability. Can you give us a brief overview of the things you say in your speech?
Well, I personally haven't done a speech yet, but I don't really have it memorized yet. But I basically say that I go skydiving and hang gliding, and I talk about a little bit about my disability and about just who I am and where I grew up and everything like that.
I've always wanted to ask the question, what is it like having an afro, man?
That's hilarious, man. I love that. Well, let me tell you what it's like having an afro. An afro is like, I look like maybe like Bob Dylan or like Ringo Starr or somebody like that with an afro. And it's just cool. I mean, I have to get a cut eventually, but people love the flow, especially Eman.
When did you start playing the piano?
I started playing the piano when I was young. I actually played drums before I actually started, I was in high school and stuff. I was in jazz and stuff, my jazz band stuff, and I played piano through there. So I was probably around like 7 or 6, probably.
What is your favorite song to sing?
My favorite song has got to be Hallelujah Girl, I Love Her So by Ray Charles. It is such a fun and fast song that I just have stuck in my head all the time.
How long have you been singing?
I've always sung, but I mainly started taking voice lessons when I started at BHMA. Because when I found out when I could have 2 lessons here at BHMA, I thought to myself, because, I always sing in the shower. So I said, how about I take voice lessons when I'm here? And ever since then, I've grown tremendously. And I even have learned how to sing and play piano at the same time, which was kind of hard to do for me before.
What is it like living at Meadow Lane? Because I know I lived in Meadow Lane.
Yes, you did. And I loved Meadow Lane. I had my own room. I lived with 3 other guys who were just amazing. And we cook our own meals, our own dinners, and we do fun stuff together. Like sometimes we go to Six Flags. Sometimes we go to museums. We do boatwood. We go out to dinner. And we just have a really good time. It's a lot of fun living there.
What is your favorite thing to play on the piano?
That's a tough question. I would have to say my favorite thing to play is I like jazz, but I also like doing singing and playing. So as a song, that's kind of a tough one to choose. But as of right now, I'd probably say "Hit the Road Jack" is one of my favorites because it's a very popular song and it's really fun to play.
I know we both like this show. What is your favorite Simpson character?
My favorite Simpsons character has got to be Homer Simpson, but I also like Barney Gumble because he's the big fat drunk guy, and I just love the Simpsons because they are hilarious and the jokes are hysterical. And as you can see, I'm wearing a Homer Simpson shirt today.
He's my favorite character. If you could play with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Ooh. I would say Dave Brubeck. He's dead. Dave Brubeck, for those of you who don't know, was a jazz musician. And I actually got to play with his jazz band, his brother's quartet, when I was in high school, and we played some for my Pittsfield City Jazz Festival, my high school jazz band, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And I actually got to play with like 3 of his sons, which was like also a dream come true. It was really fun.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
To fly.
I know you just got back from Universal Studios. What was your favorite part of the trip and why?
My favorite part of the trip was obviously the roller coasters. And I also like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter because I've been reading the books right now. And that was really fun. And the best coaster that I went on had to be the Velocicoaster, which goes 70 miles an hour. And it's more about speed than anything. It's just a great coaster. And if you go to Universal, I highly recommend it.
Can you tell us about your time at BHMA?
My time at BHMA has been awesome. I have been here about, I think it's like 6 or 7 years now. And I have grown tremendously from being here, from being a musician to gaining independence and learning how to cook more food and just having a bunch of friends who I get to see and hang out with every day and also making music.
What is your favorite class at BHMA and why?
My favorite class at BHMA has got to be capabilities and capabilities in jazz and soul, because I love making music, and jazz and soul is just an amazing class that is so much fun, and we've done so many good songs like Ain't No Stopping Us Now, Blame It on the Boogie, Uptown Funk, etc.
Do you have anything to add before we close for the day?
I do. I just want to say that as I said before, I've been skydiving. And for those of you who don't know, Elizabeth Banks lives in Pittsfield. So
yes, tell the viewers who that is.
Elizabeth Banks is an actress who lives in Pittsfield, and she was very famous on the show. I forget what one it was called, but she was very famous on the show, and my mom actually knew babysat for her a little bit.
She never babysat you personally, right?
Correct.
Yeah, why do they call you Daredevil Palardy?
Because I'm a daredevil, obviously. I go on roller coasters, I jump out of planes, I go hang gliding, I do all those crazy things that probably nobody else here at BHMA has ever done.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode of Getting to Know You. I'd like to thank Mark again for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Eman.
Our theme song is Getting to Know You by Rogers and Hammerstein, performed by BHMA community member Franklin Nichols. Editing is done by Ben Rosenthal. Creative direction by me, Eman Tuzman-Eagan, with creative support from my mom. We hope you've enjoyed the show.